everybody around the world, and welcome to my show. And we are having a recap for WWE NXT for the week. And first things first, we had a couple of championship matchups for the night. Of course, it was So Ruka go ahead against challenging for the women's NXT Women's Championship. There was also Ethan Page uh defending his North American Championship against Born Miles. And also surprisingly there was Dark State defending their NXT championships against Vanity Project. And we're gonna start the night off with that same matchup. Dark State, who has been having a few issues with Tony D'Angelo, had ran to a number one contenders matchup with Vanity Project, and the match ended up with Chaos and Jackson Drake and Dion Lennox wanted to go ahead and oh man wanted to handle other member, but instead ended up costing them the matchup, which Tony D'Angelo had hit a choke slam on the apron. Then by giving Vanity Project the one, which Vanity Project had ended up winning the NXT championships. So congratulations to them. And I'm pretty sure at some point Dark State is going to end up having to go ahead and meet with Tony D. Maybe, like I said, maybe in the future. Who knows? But right now, your current NXT champions are Vanity Project. And then we also had that um that Dallas Carver against Norm Legacy. Um Pretty not that impressive matchup. If you had put your money on Dallas Carver, honestly, you're having the right decision because man, Dallas Carver has been a very impressive specimen since hitting the NXT. Well, especially the WWE. This is getting signed to WWE, so now it does make him very very interesting. And hello there, how's it going? Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe, M. Cutler. So, but yeah, Dallas Carver is a very impressive young man. I can definitely say that his future is going to be very bright. I can see in the NXT future highlights. What's going on there, Hudson Hughes 221? Make sure you like and subscribe. And then next we also had and um the Speed Championship triple threat matchup at 9 minutes on the clock. Um, Lorian Laver versus Arian Knight versus Shane Carter. So it was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. The match ended up in a chaotic way. Knight had ended up hitting a moonsault, which which El Lavora Ilya Ilya Lavora had ended up picking up the win, securing his first ever Speeds Championship. And congratulations to him. And so again, I think we also had another matchup. It was So Ruka versus KCJ. Sorry, KCJ. Um, for the NXT Women's Championship with Zari in her corner. Before the match had even begun, Zari had attacked Soruka, which probably shocked a lot of people in that regards. So then To even further insult the injury, the match had then begun with Zari hitting a spear and then also a F5. So, so it's officially done for Zaruka. So that's officially the split. And Casey Jane retains the NXT Women's Championship, and that's how she still continues her streak. If that is how anybody feels, per se. Easy victory, unfortunately, less than like a few seconds with the easy help and assist from Zari. So, and then Zari then ends up dragging Ruka out, and the beatdown still had continued outside the ring. People gonna fall for that scam. I know. I know. It's a pretty entertaining bout, I can tell you that much. But so you can end up seeing probably Zari and Ruka are gonna probably end up um seeing each other in the near future. That is a given. And then hopefully at this point in time, maybe we can end up seeing uh, maybe a triple threat match between all three of the divas. Um, KCJ, Ruka, and Zari will be a pretty interesting bout. And honestly, with Soul, we could probably end up seeing maybe a double Soul Snatcher, probably so. But on to the next segment at hand. It is, sorry, Tate, Tatum, Tatum, Paxium, Tatum Paxi. She was giving her segment for when her and her former best friend had are gonna go ahead and go head to head. So she's going ahead and giving her victory speech per se, her heart to heart moment with the fans. She will be facing NXT North America's Women's Champion Izzy Dane. It's going to be a very personal matchup with her and Izzy Dame, and you can honestly tell there's going to be some there's going to be a lot of fireworks in between them, especially with the history with those two. Her and Izzy Dame, like I said, were very close partners until Izzy Dame had screwed Tatum for the women's NXT championship, which now resides with which now that oh man, you can tell the rivalry is going. They're building it even more. And Blake Monroe was facing now, and all was facing. Sorry, Thea Hill and Blake Monroe were facing for the qualifying women's speed championship matchup. Matchup, and of course, Blake Monroe has unfinished business with Miss Parker. Miss Parker, which then Miss Parker ended up giving her a hypnotic on the outside, which ended up giving. And then Thea ended up coming through with the win. Thea's a pretty interesting character that came up for a lot of fans per se. If she grew on you more so for the underdog persona, honestly, honestly, it's completely understandable. I honestly liked her when she was honestly liked her when she was with said uh Chase U. So it is pretty interesting, and hopefully, like I said, we do get to see more of her character getting to shine. We end up probably seeing her with the women's NXT, women's maybe the women's NXT championship. Hopefully, a little bit more in the future. All remains to be seen. All right, and then we're gonna go on to our next matchup at hand. All right, Connor versus Nixon was the next matchup, and Connor ends up hitting the running knee, and whatever's remaining left to chase you, and that was ended up being like a pretty okay matchup. Not one of the biggest matches that I had wanted to see, but pretty nice improv just to go ahead and throw into the match, just to throw into for the night. So, but the next segment that they had was um uh daily influence at their Izzy they retained her NXT Women's Championship. Her and the Fatal Influence was walking through the hallway. Um, literally, um, Zari had ended up going on ahead and meeting up with them later on, which she ended up telling Izzy Dame the only reason why you retained your championship was because of me. So in that case, you owe me. At this point, I'm sorry, JC Jane. And now she has to answer Zari's challenge about a women's NXT championship match next week, or if not, she's going to do to her what she had did in Salt and Soul. So later on, we're going to see. We're going to go ahead and see what ends up happening next. And then the main event for the matchup was Mosley Bourne against Ethan Page for Ethan Page's NXT North American Championship. Ethan, like this match was very good for the majority of the standards. Again, Ethan Page does what he does best, and that is presenting all ego and giving you his complete um best heel runs honestly on NXT. So for the most part, Ethan Page was trying to get Mosley to get hit with the exposed turnbuckle, which then Ethan was trying to hit a twisted grin, which ended up backfiring on him. And then Mosley ended up pushing him on there, and then ended up hitting a Born again, and then a 1, 2, 3, and then Born Mosley is your new NXT North American champion as he defeated Ethan Page's long reigning um, North American Championship reign of the last few months. So congratulations to him, and pretty sorry, Miles Bourne, like I said, is your new NXT champion. And if you enjoyed my wrestling content, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like and hit the subscribe button. And please make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And I will get back with you guys on another time frame. And we'll take it easy, guys.